Welcome everyone to the May 13th, 2020 meeting of the Rotterdam Town Board. Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Present.
Mr. Guidarelli?
Present.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Present.
Mr. Signor?
Present.
And Mr. Tomazone?
Present.
5 present.
Okay, would you all please stand for the pledge? Steve, would you lead us, please?
Yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Okay. I don't know about you all, but I'm still trying to get adjusted to all this. So just take it step by step. So we have no proclamations or presentations this evening. Ms. Marco, let's start with public hearing 1, please.
To allow for a change of zone request from Alcone Enterprises Incorporated for a property located at 205 Central Avenue, Schenectady, New York, 12304, known as tax map number 59.7-9-7.1.
The applicant is requesting a change of zone from an R1 single-family residential to B1 retail business on a plus or minus.
Something happened to her microphone?
You can hear me?
No.
It's got the thing on it. Here's right here. See? Speakers, 99%.
Did you cover it? Were you covered or something? Did you cover the mic somehow?
No.
Do you mind just let me just move back quickly. I apologize, Diane. Let's just move back to, so under public comment privilege of the floor, or excuse me, under the public hearings and public comment privilege of the floor, everyone gets 4 minutes. We do set a timer. Obviously, if you're going a little longer than 4 minutes, you know, I'm not going to try to stop you, but I'll put my hand up when it's 3 minutes, and I'll put my hand up again at 4 minutes. And if you, you know, if you're at the 4-minute mark, just try to wrap up your comments, please. I appreciate it very much. So
Want me to try again?
let's try it again, Diane. Yeah, I couldn't hear you, so I don't know if anyone else could. That's
All right. So
To allow for a change of zone request. Can you hear me now?
See, you started out the first couple of words and then you went distant
Yes,
again.
Can you stay back?
Is this the same issue as last time because Steve and Diane are in close together as one?
Yeah, so Steve, why don't you mute yourself while Diane's reading? Let's try that.
Yeah, what I did do is I turned my volume down on my thing, but I'll mute myself on the
Mute
application.
yourself, and let's do that.
Let me see if I can get,
Sorry, everybody.
where am I?
Diane, let's
All right.
try it again. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks
To
for your
allow for a
patience.
change of zone request from Alcone Enterprises, Inc. Is it better?
It's perfect.
Yes.
Okay. For a property located at 205 Central Avenue, Schenectady, New York, 12304, known as tax map number 59.7-9-7.1. The applicant is requesting a change of zone from an R1 single-family residential to B1 retail business on a plus or minus 0.22 acres for the construction of a 2,025 square foot garage as an addition to a business on an adjacent lot. And I think you said you wanted Al Kuhn to speak first, Steve?
Yes, please. Go ahead, Mr. Kuhn.
Yes. Basically, then it's real simple what we're trying to do. We have the existing building, and the lot that's next to the building is we also own. It's vacant, and we're just looking to put up a new garage there so that we have more room for storage. According to what I've been told with the code, the garage has to be 30 feet off the road, and it's going to be 10 feet from the far property line. Just a basic structure. No, we'll probably run power from the existing building over, but there's not going to be any plumbing or anything like that in the building. It's mainly just for storage.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Who's next?
John Fletcher? but I think he said he didn't want to speak, correct?
Right, no, that's correct.
So there's a Danielle and Susan Knights.
Let me unmute them.
Thank you.
Okay.
I think our only concern is at this point, you know, we have a young child and there's a lot of heavy traffic on our road and a lot of speeding down our road. So we're a little bit concerned about moving from a residential to a business to bring more traffic into the area.
Okay.
We already have enough as it is.
Is that the extent of your comments?
I think so. Did you have
Okay.
anything else? Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
George Vanderwerker and Norman and Paul Bombeck. I think they're all together.
Yes, George Vanderwooden speaking. We are concerned about it. We really don't know what the project is. This is the first we've heard about it. Yes, as Susan said, there is a lot of traffic that comes through at times here. But like I said, we hadn't heard about the project, and the property is already the existing property that was, I understand years ago, was originally a stable, horse stable going way back. So, you know, going for that beginning time, and we haven't really. There are homes directly across the street. Those people haven't called in. We're more down the street, a couple more doors down. But like I said, we're concerned about what it is and not knowing it. I mean, if we had had a conversation to say, this is what I'm doing, that might have helped a little bit. Norman, would you like to speak? No? Okay. Yeah, Norman says he doesn't want to speak. His brother Paul did say he was concerned about it as well, but he stepped away for a few moments here.
Okay. All right. What I'll do for everyone, for those of you that are on the call, if you don't mind just using the, if you go onto our website at rotterdamny.org and in the sending us an email or a communication, if you don't mind going in there and giving us your name and address again, I'm sure because you've received a notification, you have it, I can just go there. But if you'd like to get more information, we can certainly get out at least maybe a copy of the plot plan to you if you're interested. Why don't we just do it that way? Would you like me to do that? We'll get it out in the mail tomorrow.
That would be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. We'll get the plot plans out to you tomorrow so that you can review it. You should have received some other communication, but if that's here nor there at this point. But I will make sure that gets out to you. And then we've got a couple of weeks here because you know, before we can do some other business here, we will. I guess I'll say we're obviously considering your comments and move, I think, forward to the next meeting where we'll vote on the potential zone change. But let's use this couple of weeks to get more familiar and hopefully more comfortable with what's been proposed. Okay, is that fair?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Sounds
I'll
great.
make sure that you get the plot plans tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll share that with the neighbors.
Okay, that's great. And so tell Norman and Paul I said hello.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. All right. Is there anyone else for public hearing 1 at this time? Is anyone raising their hands on the Zoom or anything like that, Dana? Anyone else for public hearing 1 at this time?
No one else is on the call to be able to raise their hand. So,
Okay.
no.
Anyone else for public hearing 1 at this time? Okay, I'll declare public hearing 1 closed and we'll move into public hearing 2.
To accept the map and plan for the Highbridge Sewer District 6A Highbridge and Kings Road Pump Station improvements.
Okay, do we have anyone for that public hearing?
No.
I would just have a short presentation.
Joe, please do.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Let's see. So the public hearing tonight relates to operation and maintenance improvements to Sewer District 6A. Currently, Sewer District 6A includes 2 pump stations, approximately 4,750 linear foot of 3-inch sewer force main, and approximately 850 linear foot of sanitary sewer gravity main. The Kings Road pump station collects all the sewage from the district and discharges it to the city of Schenectady's gravity sewer. The High Bridge pump station is currently in need of repair and requires daily maintenance by town forces. Neither of these pump stations has a permanent emergency backup generator, only a connection for a portable unit, and neither of these pump stations is currently connected to the town's SCADA system. Briefly, the Time Warner charter facilities here, and this is the High Bridge Road pump station, which then pumps sewage by force main all the way down to the Kings Road pump station, which discharges onto the railroad tracks to the gravity system. In this area, there are 4 other properties that connect to the Kings Road pump station by gravity. It's primarily the High Bridge Pizza, the ice cream shop, the Cumberland Farms, and Quesavisco. The purpose of this improvement project is to install on-site emergency backup generators at both pump station locations, install a SCADA system at both pump stations to update the stations to town's current standard, replace the existing inoperable pumps at the High Bridge pump station, and then clean and pig the High Bridge pump station force main. The project is estimated to cost $2,078, $450. The estimated cost is based upon a 30-year loan at 3.5%. The annual principal and interest payment is $15,000 and change. With 22 EDUs in the sewer district, it's about $688 per EDU. So looking at the annualized cost, again, it's about $688 per EDU. It is noted that the 3.5% interest rate is probably higher than what the town will realize when they apply for a long-term bond for this project. And the cost would be a little bit lower. The parcels that are currently in the district, Time Warner Cable at 14 EDUs, and then the other 4 parcels that I previously mentioned, Time Warner is likely picking up about 65% of the costs of these operation and maintenance improvements. The steps associated with this process, the board would need to approve the action in accordance with Town Law 202B. Then after 30 days, permissive referendum, bond the project, and release the project for bidding. Bidding and construction would follow this year and then would be commissioned upon completion. And that's the project in its entirety. I can answer any questions. And let me see, I'm gonna try to take back the screen here. All right. So are you guys back then?
Not yet, but I
didn't unmute
can
myself.
kick you off.
Stop share. Okay.
Didn't
Oh,
unmute
there you go.
myself.
And I'm
So,
gonna,
any board members have any questions? Okay, anyone else have any comments for public hearing 2 at this time? Anyone else like to be heard on public hearing 2 at this time? Anyone like to be heard on public hearing 2 at this time? Okay, I'll declare public hearing 2 closed. Let me just switch screens here.
Do you want me to start with order number 1.20, Steve?
Well, we have to go into public comment privilege of the floor.
Oh, I'm
first, just
sorry.
No, it's okay. Just as I don't think we have anyone for that.
No,
But let
but
me just ask, is there anyone for public comment privilege of the floor this evening? No? Okay, let's move forward then. Ms. Marco, please order number 1.
1.20, the Town Board of the Town of Rotterdam pursuant to New York State Eminent Domain Procedure Law, Section 204, issues in connection with condemnation of property in relation to the proposed public project Sewer 7 Extension to Carmen Road project.
sorry, I clicked a button. Okay. So we have order number 1. Are there any comments from the board?
Do we need a motion for orders?
We need a motion for the order, yes.
All right.
Yes, you do.
Okay, I'll make the motion to approve the order.
And Mr. Christou is motioning. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Mr. Signor. Is there anyone on the question for order number 1? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
I'm voting no, as I have not had adequate time to review this agenda as it was just posted.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
4 yes, 1 no.
Okay, order 1 passes. Let's move into the resolutions.
Sure. Appoint.
Resolution number 145.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Steve, are you muted? Excuse me, Dan. Are you muted, Steve?
I'm muting and unmuting so it doesn't interfere with Diane's.
Okay, all right, okay. I'm going to mute also, just to see if maybe that helps.
When it comes
Go
to
ahead,
voting, I'll unmute.
Marco.
Appoint individuals to various seasonal summer positions at the Town of Rotterdam Highway Department from May 18th, 2020 through August 28th, 2020 at an hourly rate of $11.80, contingent upon completion of DCJS background check and compliance with the New York State Corrections Law.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Wait a minute, sorry. We have a motion by Mr. Christou, second by Mr. Signor. Was that Steve or Joe?
It was me.
Okay, second by Mr. Signor. Anyone on the question? Sorry. Ms. Marco, please call the roll.
Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Again, I am voting no, as I did not have adequate time to review this agenda. And I just want to clarify, I did not have adequate time because the agenda was just posted 10 minutes before this meeting.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
4 yes, 1 no.
Okay, resolution 14520 passes. Resolution 14620.
Amend resolution number 18 of 2020 to appoint individuals to various seasonal and/or part-time positions at the indicated rates of pay for the year 2020.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Signor. Is there a second, please?
That was
I'll
Mr.
second.
All right.
Second by Ms. Miller Herrera. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, please call the roll.
Mr.
Christou?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Voting no again as previous stated reasons.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
4 yes, 1 no.
Okay, resolution 14620 passes. Resolution 14720.
Declare the town board as lead agency and authorize the town planner to prepare, file, publish, and distribute all documents necessary to comply with NYCRR Part 617 and State Environmental Quality Review relative to the proposed local law referenced in Resolution 148.20.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Christou. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Ms. Miller Herrera. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
No.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
4 yes, 1 no.
Okay, resolution 14720 passes. Resolution 14820.
Call for public hearing to be held on Wednesday, May 27th, 2020 at 7 p.m. The public hearing is open to the public and persons may attend telephonically, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Members of the public may listen to and/or speak at the public hearing by dialing 1-929-205-6099, then entering the conference ID number 867-0373, 0307, followed by the pound symbol. The public hearing will be held electronically via a video conference for the town board and a conference call for all members of the public for the following purpose: to accept the map, plan, and report for the proposed sewer district, District 7, Extension 3.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Okay, motion by Mr. Christou. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Mr. Signor. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, please call the roll.
Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Mr.
I am voting no. As previously stated, we did not have adequate time to review this agenda to make informed decisions. No.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
Mr. Thomaso?
Yes.
4 yes, 1 no.
Okay, resolution 14820 passes. Okay, now we have consent items, 149, 150, 151, 152, 153, 154, 155, and 156. Is there a motion for the consent items?
Mr. Supervisor, I'll make a motion to consolidate motions 14920, 15020, 15120, 15220, 15320, 15420, 15520, and 15620 as a consent agenda.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Christou for the consent agenda. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Ms. Miller Herrera. Anyone on the question? I'd like to just mention a few of these. So we're moving forward with the Route 5S Bicycle and Pedestrian Improvement Project. Like most every single one of these resolutions that appear on our agenda, they are all part of prior agendas or prior business that we've already voted on. The continuation of improvements to the senior center, we have a change order for some additional hallway subfloor and additional drywall that needs to be installed. There's a change order. We are working with Barton and Judas on a couple of projects. One of them have to do with town hall building renovations because of the current situation we find ourselves in. Frankly, some of these renovations were in process or discussed prior with the board members and also with department heads. And now with this new environment that we find ourselves in, there will be more that we have to ensure that the improvements that we make are not only long lasting, but they meet the tests of this COVID situation and maybe, God forbid, anything else that happens in the future. And then we have a couple of one bid call for bids for a sweeper for the highway department and also a award of a bid for highway sand, and the town clerk's report and our adoption of our minutes. So that's basically what's on the consent agenda. So I have a motion by Mr. Christou, a second by Ms. Miller Herrera. Anyone else on the consent agenda? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Christou? Mr. Christou?
I'm saying yes,
I'm
yes.
sorry. Mr.
I'm
Gittarelli?
Having a lot of problems today.
Mr. Gittarelli?
I'm voting no. And Mr. Supervisor, let's say I understand that the content of most of these have been on previous agendas, but I don't believe it's fair to the public that 10 minutes before our meetings, we are posting the final agenda. We did not even post a draft agenda. And I don't think it's fair to the board to be, and I'm not saying it was by any malicious intent, but it was just something that happened. And I just don't think it's right. Well, not right, but I don't think it's okay that we make decisions on an agenda we just saw 10 minutes ago or 10 minutes before the meeting started. So I'm voting no.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
4 yes, 1 no.
Okay, now under committee reports, I know that Mr. Signor has a couple of things he wants to mention. Do any of the other board members have anything they want to bring up under committee reports or miscellaneous tonight?
I just want to confirm, Mr. Supervisor, that we voted for the consent agenda and then we voted for the agenda as well. Do we have to vote first to accept the consent agenda and then vote to approve it, or is it all in one?
It's all in one because it appears the way it appears. It's there already. It would be different if we were, as in the past, if we didn't have a consent agenda and board members wanted to create a consent agenda with the existing resolutions.
Gotcha.
Then it would be a two-step process.
Understood.
Yeah. Anyone else? Mr. Signor, why don't you go ahead?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I just want to mention briefly that I've got a couple notifications with respect to various testing sites for people who wish to have themselves tested for the COVID-19 virus, and they are as follows. Today, May 13th, it's pretty much over, so I'm not going to worry about that. It was at the Page Elementary School from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Tomorrow, May 14th, the testing site will be at the Mount Pleasant Middle School at 1121 Forest Road here in Schenectady from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Friday, May 15th, the Ellis Medicine's McClellan Street Health Center at 600 McClellan Street, Schenectady will be open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And it says arranged sites for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday locations will be at Ellis McClellan Street Health Center. And last available time for walk-ups will be at 4:30 p.m. And the site will close between 1 and 2 p.m. daily. And the weekend testing sites will be Saturday, May 16th at the Hometown Health Center at 1044 State Street in Schenectady from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then it looks there is a community testing at the Rotterdam Walmart, which is available Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 7 to 9 a.m. And and you can also check the county website for any updates with respect to the coronavirus and testing sites.
Are those, Mr. Signor, are those testing reserved for people that have symptoms, and do they have to call and make an appointment, or is anybody who wants to get tested for COVID?
By appointment, well, you have to, it looks like it's by appointment, and you should call. Thank you very much, Mr. Christo, for pointing it out. By appointment, and here's the number to call. It's 518-688-3420 for an arrival time. And those are for the Wednesday 13th, well, now the 14th, 15th, and 16th. And I can't speculate on the Walmart because it doesn't give any information other than I would assume, and please don't hold me to this, that you're going to have to go through the regular formalities of having to either get a prescription from your physician in order to test. So I don't know if it's simply a walk-in, but I don't have enough information to.
Steve, let me interrupt you. So if you don't mind, so I apologize. So I didn't know that was not included. More detail wasn't included on that release that you have there. But so the site is open Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 7 to 9 a.m. Until they close it. And the website, the testing site, requires an appointment, and it's myquestcovidtest.com. So MYQUEST COVID test.com. Again, myquestcovidtest.com. And then they also have a dedicated 1866 number. That is 1866-448-7719. Again, 866-448-7719. And they're open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern time. So that's the extent of the information that we have right now. So, but obviously, calling your primary care physician would probably be your first step, potentially for most people. Is there anything else that you have there, Steve? Did you?
No, otherwise just the standard protocols for when you obviously wash your hands for 20 seconds, avoid close contact, avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth, stay home as much as possible. If you have to go out, stay at least 6 feet away from others. You must wear a face mask or face covering when social distancing. And cover your cough or sneeze with a tissue, then throw the tissue in the trash, and clean and disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces.
Thank you. On the 2020 events and so forth, I just want to mention briefly that there's items, if you will, that we're working on, have been working on, are still in process, if you will, progressing. We've had to cancel or change many of our future plans here because of the current COVID situation, but we'll get back and soon to getting a calendar out. The 2020 committee is working on a number of items. They do have the 1820 beer, heritage beer that's been brewed, and hopefully we'll be able to get to that soon. There will be some work that's being done to the long path, if you will, the hiking out of the Plotter Kill. There'll be a couple of kiosks put up soon, and just a bunch of other items which we'll be announcing over the next, hopefully, couple of months. And we'll probably have to push out, I would think, a few events into 2021 for the town because we really want to celebrate a lot, and hopefully we'll again be able to get there. A few more things I'd like to just mention briefly. So I've received some communication recently from Shannon Shine, who is the superintendent of schools at Mahonis. And so there's a few items here that keep coming up for him. So I just want to address them to the general public. So first of all, when it comes to our agreement or thereabouts with Spectrum or Charter, we have in the just past couple of years we have been working to get I'll say all parties to the table, and we have had calls with our consultants. But again, with the current situation that we have, things have slowed a little bit, but we're still working on that. There are flashing lights that already exist on Curry Road by the school. What happened was the batteries in that flashing light, the flashing lights did not, they expired. We did order new batteries some time ago, and we did receive them. We're waiting on an electrician that knows how to install these batteries and some other electronics that apparently aren't working to reprogram the lights, and that should be done before the end of May. And then there was some talk about moving some signs around the safe school zone. Those signs have been measured several times. They are within, according to our Department of Public Works and our sign maintenance personnel, they are in the right location. But what we're going to do is kind of meet on site there with school officials in the next week or two, and just make sure that everyone is in agreement that they're located properly. Recently, a letter went out to town residents along Princetown Road, talking about what we had, a few years ago, we had applied for a $5 million, we had made a $5 million application to the state, and we received a $3 million grant and a $2 million low interest loan. Part of that work for that grant is the May Avenue tank, which that work is progressing. Also, the other part of the project, a major part of the project, is the replacement of our 20-inch water main, which runs Princetown Road from Thompson Street to Five Corners. And the project's basically been approved, obviously by the board, but also by the New York State Department of Health. And we expect that we'll be starting construction sometime in the next couple of months and finishing it this season. Should hopefully everything stays, stays on track. And so they sent a letter to residents to let them know about tree removal and maybe some other issues that are relevant to that project. It's a major project for the town, something that we talked about several years ago, and thankfully we're able to get it accomplished. In Rotterdam Junction, in the canal, so off of 5S near Carl Street in the town of Rotterdam, portion of the old Erie Canal has power lines in it, and working with National Grid, and I want to thank National Grid for working with us. We are going to be relocating those power lines to property that the town owns along the Erie Canal, and so it'll aesthetically not only look better, but it'll be better just all the way around. So that's something that, again, I wanted to thank the National Grid for that. We've been working on that for a few years, and that's working through. we have just a lot of different projects that have been started, and we're progressing. We will be moving to declare that land at Young's Auto as Parks land soon. The Water Sewer Maintenance Department is working on installing that redundant line. We've talked about this before, from our wells on water at in Rotterdam Junction at Water 3 to 5S. Once that's complete, the company that Metroplex in the county assisted us is over a $250,000 job to reclaim that property. And once we get the line put in, we will then basically get the folks back in to regrade that area. And then at a future meeting, we're going to declare that, I would like to declare that property as parkland, so that with its adjacency to the water wells, that nothing can happen there into the future. Again, the senior center is, progress is continuing there, and hopefully we'll be able to have a meeting there after it's complete, and have our state officials there, particularly Senator Amador, for a ribbon cutting there, because he was instrumental in helping us to get the $350,000 grant to do a lot of work there. So that's all part of the improvements that are being done there. Backup generator, the auditorium flooring, which we're still waiting for the thumbs up to be able to get the concrete poured in that room. And then roofing and some other structural repairs. And instead of the septic system upgrades, obviously we're going to be joining the Hamburg Street Sewer District. So that will be done by our own people as well. So no additional cost to that for us. Is there anyone else that has anything under public comment, privilege of the floor? Or I'm sorry, under miscellaneous for committee reports. And I know it was mentioned earlier, but happy Mother's Day and belated Mother's Day to all the moms, and particularly during this time when hopefully things are going well for your families. And obviously the town is not open for business from the perspective that the town hall is open. But you can go online, you can call. There are people working here every day. People are checking their emails. People are checking their phones for voicemail. Many of the permits that are coming in, just to give you some idea of process, for example, if plans need to be dropped off or something needs to happen, we have a truck that sits outside of our Department of Public Works office. And basically what happens is when people want to drop off plans or some other more voluminous materials, our people know that they're coming, and they drop the materials into the back of the truck, and then we pick them up at some point later on after they're delivered. So our town clerk and our receiver of taxes and staff have been working, and so we're still here. I'm hopeful that we'll be able to open up town hall sooner than later, and be put in a position where we can have the public come in, and I'm sure that there will be distancing requirements that we have masks. But I want you to know that our own town staff has, if you haven't been here, have already installed, Jamie McConvey in particular, and others worked to install plexiglass in front of all of the offices. So that's already done. That's been done for over a week now. And there's some other work being done in town hall, and that's where we'll continue to progress where we can. And some of the other major improvements that we're going to be making, we'll do after we have Barton and Judas come in and assist us, not only with the plans, but also with potentially the opportunities to get some grant funds in to assist us in those improvements. I have the window open if you heard the motorcycle. I needed some fresh air in here. So anyone else? No? Okay, let's have a motion for adjournment then, I guess.
Mr. Supervisor, I'll move to adjourn.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Christou for adjournment. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Ms. Miller Herrera. All in favor for adjournment signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you all for attending this evening. Thank you.